Hello, thank you for joining us. This is the Miro Consulting webinar on Oracle's Java licensing and the changes that they have made all the way from January 19th to today. We are going to give it a minute here. We're just going to give everyone a chance to log in. We'll begin the presentation in about 1 minute. Hello, and again, thank you for joining us. This is the Miro Consulting presentation on Oracle Java. We're going to begin in about 30 seconds. We're just going to give everyone a chance to log in. Thanks. All right, let's begin. Hello, thank you for joining us. This is the Miro Consulting webinar on Oracle Java licensing, which will cover everything from when Java was first needed to be licensed back in 2019, all the way to information we have brand new for you today that may seriously affect your Java compliance situation. So we're thrilled to have you with us. My name is Sean Donahue. I'm the VP of Marketing here at Miro Consulting. And this presentation was prepared by Tim Hegedus, our Director of Technical Services, expert in all things Java licensing. I have all of my analysts on the call with me today. So if you are looking for some questions answered, please use the question box and we will answer them at the end. Additionally, I have also a little bit of extra for you today. We have Simon Taylor from Azul, which is a Java alternative. And he is going to tell us a little bit more about one of your options if you don't want to use Oracle Java directly. And before we begin, I just want to say if you're the kind of person like me who screenshots every slide and tries to document everything, don't worry, you don't have to do that. I'm going to send you both a link to the recording of this video, and I'm also going to send you a licensing guide for Java. And that's going to have all the tables and all the data in this presentation. And there will be a lot of data in the presentation. And I will say to you, if you go to a Java webinar other than mine that doesn't have a lot of data, that's an organization that you may not want to take their word for it. So like I said, the data is the important part here, and we're going to get right in. So real quick about who we are. Miro Consulting is the leading global provider of software asset management and subscription management services for Oracle, Microsoft, IBM, Amazon Web Services, and Salesforce. We specialize in cloud license management, audit advisory, negotiation tactics, support management, and cloud services. So basically, we help you get a better ROI on your software license subscription investments and help you stay in compliance and navigate all audits. The best part of this is we have a performance guarantee. It's very simple. Our fees will be less than your cost savings. So there is no risk to you. And that's one of the reasons we have so many clients and they enjoy working with us so much. So if you're looking to save money on any of these vendors or you're worried about an audit, please give us a call. Okay, what are we going to go over today? So our agenda is as follows. We're going to talk about the changes that have happened since 2019, but we're going to do a special focus on 2023. I know a lot of you probably have heard some of the information before, but a lot of times we come across people who have misinformation. They've been misinformed by people on the internet who don't know what they're talking about and don't talk directly to Oracle to get the information. So this is the verified information. I can tell you right now, we verify this with the Oracle team to make sure everything is perfect and we're not off by one number. We're going to cover different types of subscriptions. We're going to cover different types of agreements, the Java sales inquiry, which is totally not an audit, just a sales inquiry, and some of your other options. And most importantly, we're going to tell you what the gotchas are. So if your plan was to maybe just sign up for a year of Oracle Java subscription and then move off, we have some bad news for you. So let's move forward and we'll tell you all about it. Okay, so Java audits are in progress. If you're wondering, they definitely are. This is not an idle threat. Companies are buying Java. Oracle is calling up companies for subscriptions. We have seen They are starting at the larger end of the market. They're starting with government clients. They're starting with their clients who have other Oracle products. But right now, we estimate about 20% of Oracle clients have been audited for Java. Have purchased Java licensing. But we really want to make sure you understand you don't have to be an Oracle client to get audited. We've spoken with many clients, our clients, that have gotten audited and they didn't use any other Oracle products. So, that it is going on, it is out there. And if you are a major, large organization or you are a governmental organization, you are first on the list of who Oracle is calling up and saying, hey, you need a Java license. We've been assisting dozens and dozens since they started this. We've probably helped more than anybody else in the industry, and we can help you. All right, so the first thing I'd like to ask the audience here is, what is your Java plan? And I have a great system here. You give me an answer, I will send you the results of all my polls. I will give you so you have an idea of what your peers are doing, what is the market trends at the moment. And I can tell you, I've been doing this webinar for quite a while now, and I have noticed that less and less people seem to be interested in doing the wait and see approach. We definitely don't recommend doing nothing. At the very least, you're going to want to see what is your position. And I'll give everybody else here another 10 seconds to get your answer in. And we have seen more and more people both moving toward the purchase, and we have seen more people working on replacing Oracle with non-Java Oracle. Those two numbers have crept up as I've done this webinar over the past year and a half now. And there, of course, we still have some people who don't have a plan and are just kind of waiting for the inevitable. And we don't suggest that at all. All right, thank you very much for these poll results. I will send you the results after the webinar, and we have a chance to tally them all up. And give me a minute because the poll's just a little stuck. There we go. All right, great. All right, so let's talk about Java pricing and how is it structured? Well, it used to be per named user or per server. It was basically the users and defined by users and technology, right? If the system used Java, it needed it. If the user was using something that needed Java, they needed it. That changed. In January 2023, Oracle has announced every employee requires a Java license if anyone is using licensable Java at your organization. And when I say every employee, I mean even if they don't use Java, even if they don't use a computer. If you have an employee who does nothing but sweep the floor, that employee needs a Java license. And it's not just your employees. It's everybody who's sort of associated with you. You're full-time, you're part-time, you're temporary, your contractors, your agents, your outsourcers, your consultants, your dog. Okay, your dog doesn't really need a license. But if your dog could log in, he could need a license. He's already got a name. He's already halfway to named user. But I only say that in kidding because I want you to realize it's more than just employees. And I want you to have that takeaway from this slide. Don't get stuck in just it's the per employee model and stop there, because you might have a lot more like seasonals. You might have people who contract out for you and qualify. There's all kinds of reasons, somebody would qualify under that per employee metric. So just keep in mind of how expansive that definition is. As I said, it used to be per processor and named user plus. Before that, it was a perpetual Java SE license. And again, now it is per employee. So please remember that. And that is even if they don't use a computer. And also just keep in mind, Java can be anywhere. So just because you think an employee doesn't use a computer, do they have a handheld? Do they have some other system they're punching into? Java is sneaky. Java is everywhere. We tell our prospects and clients is if it uses electricity, check it for Java. All right. So a lot of the question that constantly comes up is, what if I already purchased Java under the old metrics? Well, guess what? Good. You have done well for yourself if you bought it under named user or preprocessor, because you do not need to upgrade to the new licensing model. We have this directly from the Oracle licensing teams. You should be able to renew under your old model. Now, that's not to say that everyone at Oracle is aware of that. You may get a sales call from a salesperson who they don't know. They were informed wrong. They're not trying to lie to you. They got misinformed themselves. So if you have a sales rep who calls you and says, no, you need to move to our new metrics, you do not. And if you're worried about whether you want to get a second opinion, please go ahead. You can call us if that happens. We'll tell you, we'll talk to the Java rep if we have to and say, no, this is not something you need to do. But good news is there is eventually that rep will figure out what the rule is, and you won't need to purchase any existing licenses. And I'll also throw in here, if you purchase something from Oracle that included Java, you don't need an additional Java license for that product. You can't borrow that Java license and use it for all your other products, but for that single product that comes with Java prepackaged, you do not need to buy another license. So that is the most common question one of the most common questions I get. So I figured I'll throw it out there now for everyone. So let's talk about, how does Oracle even know you have Java? Well, Java phones home. Java calls back to Oracle headquarters and say, hey, I'm a Java installation. I'm located at this IP address. Now, it's not doing so nefariously. It's not reporting to try to out you to Oracle. It's simply calling home for updates. It's calling home for security patches, things like that. It's doing what it's supposed to do to keep you safe and secure, but a byproduct of that is that it is also giving away your IP address. It's just how the internet works. So keep that in mind. And also, Java will auto-update itself from a free version to a paid version unless you turn off the auto updates. And if you don't know how, that's something we can help you with. But that is one of the biggest issues we've seen our clients have, is they'll go through all the hard work of making sure all their Java editions they're using are not licensable or free to use. And then one of their users will update, or it'll update itself. So if your users, keep in mind, you know your users. If your users will just sit there and go update, yes, go ahead, they're not going to look. So that's something you really need to be aware of. It will call home. So, when that rep calls you from Oracle, they'll say, yeah, I see you have Java. They'll know which versions, they'll know everything. All right. So there are older versions of Java than what we're going to talk about here that really you probably should be off of by now. I don't know. I'm not a technology expert in that sense, but it's been licensable since April of 2019. They originally announced it in January of that year. There are 5, 6, and 7 Java versions, which are in sustaining support only. And then of the older versions, Java 8 is in extended support with fees waived until 2030. And technically, we're also going to cover Java 4 here for the first time, and you'll see why. So Java Web Start is another version you might see, and that is the Java 8 is the sunset released until the end of Java 8 SE Extended, again, which will terminate 2030. So it's very important to know not only which edition of Java you have, but what update, which I say version, edition, same sort of thing. What update number do you have is really the key here with these lower level Javas. So brand new. We just found out, I believe, a day or two ago about this. So you won't find this anywhere else. Java 4 used to not be licensable. It is licensable now. And it comes down with the other older Javas down to the update number. So this is very, very, very important, because we have people call us up all the time and say, oh yeah, hey, Java 8, 2011 down here, that's free, right? And we say, no, it's not. And people won't believe us. So you can trust us. We get this stuff directly from Oracle here. So the way this works is, for example, with Java 4, update number 30 is the last free one. If you update to 31, it's a paid version. You can see here, I'm not going to read them off here because I sent them all to you. 8 is probably the most used of this group. So keep in mind, the magic number for 8 is 202. If you got 202 or less, then you don't need a license. If you've got 211 or more, you do. So keep that in mind when you're looking at your older Java versions, if that's what you're running. All right, and real quick, just so you understand what this next slide is going to be, there are 2 versions of support. There's long-term and there's not long-term. So not long-term support generally means that it'll be free for like 6 months and then they don't support it anymore, and it's not free. That's sort of like the latest, greatest, most up-to-date version. Then they have things like a long-term support. So those are the editions that they're going to support it for 5 years and then 3 more years extended. So if you want to be on the cutting edge of things, you want to be on the not long-term. But if you don't want to have to worry about changing your Java version all the time, you want to be on the long-term support versions. So here's everything from 7 all the way up to, what are we at now? Zoom's covering my screen, 21. So through 7 through 21, if you're trying to cut through this table and say, oh God, which one do I really want to use? You're probably looking at 17 or 21 here. So the two you want to look at here is 17 is free only until September 2024, and then it will become a paid version. And 21 is free long term. So if you're looking to kind of update to one Java instance that is free, that is long term, you are going to want 21. That may not be possible for your team. You want to talk to your technology team with this information. What I always advise I got a lot of people who come to my webinars from procurement teams, from legal teams, things like that. Make sure you don't make a plan without your IT team because they may not believe that one of these versions is compatible with whatever you're doing. And again, I'm going to send you this in a big in a PDF afterward, so you don't have to worry about memorizing all this now. All right, so let's talk about Java commercial features. So when we talk about those are free, they are only free if you are not using commercial features. I have them listed here. And if you are using any of these, it doesn't matter if your version is a free version, you still have to pay for it. And one of the most common issues we have, look at that second bottom one, is the usage tracker. So if you are using the usage tracker to see what versions of Java you have and you get them all to be free versions by using the usage tracker, well, using the tracker alone is going to cause you to fail a compliance test because that is a commercial feature. So again, we'll send this to you, but keep in mind, that there's many little asterisks next to free. And you've got to make sure that you satisfy the conditions on all of them or it will become a paid version. And then real quick, I'm just going to proof this. Sustaining support, what does it actually mean? It means that they're going to cover bug fixes and security stuff. What's not covered? Upgrades, updates, severe commitment to 24-hour commitment. So they're both supported, but I'm not going to get too far into support other than to say, if you do have Oracle support and you find you have trouble with your Oracle support in terms of getting it renewed and making sure you're not paying too much, we actually can do that for you. We can actually take care of your support. We will do your support renewals for you. It's a service we provide. Oftentimes we can actually save you some money on that too. So I have a guest speaker who's going to join us in a moment here. So there are a couple of alternatives to Java if you don't want to use Java. They range, there's more than what's on this list. These are the major ones. Microsoft has one, Amazon has one, IBM, everybody, the minute they announced it, everybody announced, all the big players said, oh, no, we're not paying you, Oracle. We're going to make our own Java. Now, two of these stand out from the list, and that is Azul Core and Azul Prime. And we've actually helped some of our clients move to Azul, and they've saved 90% on their costs. So there's 89% of their costs on what it would have cost them for Java for the same thing. Zulu and Zing are the older names. Core and Prime are their new names, in case you actually had heard of them before. And with that, I want to give it over to a special guest from Azul, Simon Taylor. Vice President at Azul. Simon, can you give us like a quick 1 or 2 minute version of what are the benefits? Why do I want to go to Azul when I have a Java issue?
Great. Hi, I hope you can hear me, Sean. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Excellent. I would turn my video on, but I can't, but there you go. So just to give you a bit of background, hi everyone, thanks for allowing me to jump in on this call today. It's great to see everybody out there. So Azul provides probably one of the leading, if not the leading alternative to Oracle Java SC. And it really is providing benefits in a number of areas, least of all the fact that it's significantly cheaper from a support point of view. But more importantly, it's very easy to migrate to Azul Core, which is our OpenJDK equivalent. We provide probably the best industry CPU patching strategy for critical patches on security versus the common approaches which create lots of regression and require 3 to 4 weeks of testing just to implement. We provide those as part of PSU packages as well. So you can actually deploy any security patches almost straight away with very little regression and or vulnerability exposure of your core Java applications. But that's just one example. That I think probably one of the biggest areas that often people talk about in relation to Azul Core is our breadth of support. So Azul Platform Core supports nearly every single version of Java that's out there, and we provide security patching for 6, 7, and 8, things that basically no one else does, and also derivatives and instances of where Java applications start up with third-party technologies, things like that. We support all of that. So that's why we're trusted by a lot of the over 40% of the Fortune 500, just because of those types of technology. So I don't know if that gives you enough background, Sean. I'll pause for a second. I can certainly get into Azul Prime as well and the difference between that and a platform core.
Yeah, one thing I would love to hear it. And the one thing I want to explain to some of our users who are not technology users is that what Simon mentioned, he talked about critical patch updates. The simple version is like this. When they find something that needs to be updated because it's a bug, it's a vulnerability, the other groups will put it in a list and say, okay, every 30 days we release it. So if the bug showed up on the day after the release came out, that vulnerability lasts for 30 days. Whereas with Java and Azul, who are different from the rest, that security gets patched, as fast as they can patch it. They are, they go after it. They don't just put it on a list. And the reason that I bring that up is because we have found that the biggest stumbling block we've seen to organizations looking to move away from Oracle Java is that their IT security teams say, no, the patching is not up to it. It's not a secure enough product. Azul is the only one who ever seems to overcome those concerns. So go ahead, Simon, you talk about the difference between Core and Prime.
Yeah, sure. So just let me reiterate, we actually patch the same day. So normally the patches are issued within a 24-hour window, which is very different to nearly every other solution out there. So the difference between Platform Core and Platform Prime is Platform Core is our OpenJDK equivalent. Platform Prime is actually our own binaries. So we have modified OpenJDK. And what Prime does is very different. It focuses on Java application performance. So if you're trying to modernize your applications and improve performance, reduce compute utilization, or even simply speaking, reduce the amount of resources that are actually managing those Java applications, doing things like garbage collection, cleanup, code inventory, dead code analysis, things like that. Prime Platform does all of that almost instantly, and it does it in both hybrid, hyperscale, and cloud environments as well. So it's a very easy technology for you to take your Java applications, upgrade them, so that you want to put them in AWS or you put them in GCP, for example, and or then rationalize the compute utilization down so you can save not only 20 to 30% on the performance of an application and improve it to that degree, but you can increase or reduce the footprint of the application by 15 and 20% as well. And the big ticket thing here is this applies to lots and lots of Java applications, everything from Solr and Apache that run on Java, right through Corretto, Kafka, and all those other types of applications. Significant Java mainstay infrastructure-based solutions that people are relying on. So most of the bigger customers of Azul use Prime because it's considerably more benefits than just swapping out a JDK.
That's fantastic, Simon. Thank you very much. That was a great synopsis on one of the alternatives you have out there and why it may be the one for you. All right, thank you, Simon.
Of course.
Let's keep going. All right, so we're curious. One of the other things we'd like to know is, have you tried to figure out where your Java usage is? We found organizations that have gone through with a fine-tooth comb. We found organizations who don't know how to even start looking. And like I said earlier, we advise you to look everywhere. One of the jokes was I don't know if this was true, but I've heard that when you get a birthday card, you open up, it sings "Happy Birthday" to you. It has Java in it, which wouldn't surprise me. Again, I'm not a technologist, but again, if you can give me your answer here, I will send you the answers. We're just looking to find out, how much are people looking? How much are they getting ahead of the game? I love to see that more people are working on it. I absolutely love that. When I first started doing these webinars, practically nobody was working on it. Now it's really, really solid. I'm seeing, upwards of 30, 40% of people typically are saying that they are working on it. And good for you. You should work on it. All right, I'm going to close the polls. Your last chance. All right, to everyone who answered, thank you very much. Again, we'll send these around after the webinar. All right, so real quick, this is not super important, but just in case for anybody who's on the legal teams out there, make sure that if you are reviewing your agreements under Java, there are 3 main agreements you might be under: the binary code license agreement, the technology network license agreement, and the no-fee terms and conditions agreement. And you can see the original one there is for 7 and 8 before 2019, the announcement. The middle one there is after 2019 up to Java 16. And then finally, the newest version is the Oracle no-fee terms and conditions agreement, which covers Java 17 and 19. All right, so let's talk about a Java audit, or sales inquiry. So Java audits start off with a sales call from the Oracle Java team, who will call you up and say, hey, I see you are using Java. I see you don't have a Java subscription, and I see how many employees you have. Here's your bill. So you need to be prepared for that phone call. They're going to be called the Global License Advisory Services. If you ever heard of LMS, which was the License Management Services of Oracle, they have a new name. They are now GLASS. It may not be a member of the GLASS team, but very frequently we will see it'll be a conference call. They will call you with the Java sales member, and then they will bring on the GLASS team member to try to rattle you a little bit, to try to get you to move faster to buy a subscription. They're going to ask for a count of your employee, or they used to ask for a count of your processes and workstations. Now they ask for a count of your employees. They can look it up. So if you think that if you're a major organization, keep in mind there are data brokers out there, who can easily tell Oracle how many employees you have, or know pretty close to it. So they're going to ask, but they probably already know. So again, this is the type of thing where you want to think about, can your users upgrade their own Java? That is going to be a thing. So if you end up talking to these people, remember they do this every day, all day, and you're doing it once for the first time. So don't do it alone. Get somebody to help you. It doesn't have to be us. We'd love it if it was us, but anybody's, get somebody confident to help you, and don't risk going it alone. So I told you about the gotchas. Here's the gotchas. So if you were planning on buying a 1-year subscription, or you figured this was your plan, Oracle will eventually call me. I'll buy a 1-year subscription. I'll use that year to get off and migrate off of Java, and that'll be it. I'm good. Hey, I'm done. But it doesn't work that way. If you sign up for a 1-year subscription, you have to pay full back usage fees to 2019. So in other words, your 1-year subscription is 1 year going forward and 4 years going backwards. They will charge you for all 4 years. They'll have you still have your usage records for 4 years. So if that's your plan, that's not going to work. Now you can do a 3-year, and that will get you up to 50% of the back usage fees. Or if you don't want to pay your back usage fees, you've got to sign up for a 5-year commitment. Now, they will give you discounted pricing on that, but this is the reality of the situation if you are going to go forward with Java. And again, I'll send you this as part of our guide, but this is the biggest surprise that we tend to see for people. They had no idea this was an issue, and it completely messes up their plans. So if this was your plans, you're going to want to change them now. All right, and now for my final poll results, poll question. Have you gotten a Java audit letter or a Java audit phone call? Do you suspect one? Has your regular Oracle rep mentioned Java to you? Because that is, you might not be the one who gets that phone call. It's going to be whoever's the designated person on your contract. You might have been audited and just, it went to the legal team and you haven't found out yet or something. But normally, oh, wow, it's great. Yep, every time I do this poll, I see the yeses keep creeping up, and wow, really high here. I'm going to send you guys this later. We're almost coming in at like 50%, just under 50% on the yeses. That is the highest I've ever seen it. So that is interesting. So if you think it's not going on, it's definitely going on. So this is the time to prepare. If you haven't, this is your golden opportunity to get your ducks in a row and get everything, get your IT environment the way you want it to be. And again, though, if you're looking for help on finding out where it is or how it is or what you should do or what you can change, Mira will absolutely help you with that. We've helped dozens and dozens of clients negotiate their Java compliance, and we can help you too. Again, thank you for my polls. Give it one last second. All right, thank you very much. All right, so here are the conclusions I want you to take away from this webinar. The release currently installed at your organization somewhere, you may not be thinking about it, somewhere you've got a licensable Java. And if you are not using very precise tools and experts to look, you're probably going to miss one. And Oracle isn't. Java has adopted a policy of long-term and short-term support. So make sure if you are looking to move yourself to a free version and not have to deal with it for a while, make sure you're moving to the long-term support version. There are many alternatives to Java. And in fact, I'm going to have Simon talk to you a little bit more. We had some questions come in that I had sent over to Simon earlier that came in during the registration process that he can then read the question off to you that he got, and he'll give you, the answer there. be careful that, make sure you're looking at the right agreement when you're trying to look at your contract language. Make sure you carefully review Oracle's proposal. If you haven't reviewed Oracle proposals before, you're going to want somebody who has. There may be some things in there that you need to change in terms of terms that your company doesn't do. Anything from your payment schedule to your usage rights. There's a lot of terms that you might need to be a little different for your purposes. And finally, understand the costs of compliance and the compatibility. The last thing we want to see you do is what we've seen is organizations have come to us and said, yep, we put together this great plan, and our IT department just quickly voided it and said, that won't work for security reasons, or that won't work for compatibility reasons, or we don't have the expertise and time to do it. So make sure if you are a procurement person, a legal person, an architectural person, make sure you are talking to those IT team members, especially your security team members, because if someone is going to throw a roadblock in your plan, we've found those are the ones that typically do it the most. So what are you going to do? Well, don't do nothing. Oracle's going to come knocking sooner or later. It's just a matter of time. You should be aware of what Java, where it is, what you have. You should know, can your computers or your users update themselves out of compliance? You should know your alternatives, and you should get expert help. That is probably the number one thing we would say to take away from this is don't do it one time. Don't make this the one-time learning experience for you and get it wrong. So with that, I believe we can get to our questions, and I have some of them here. I just need to back up and read them. So forgive me for making the slide deck a little off here. So, all right, this one actually is for Simon.
Right.
Right. So Simon, the question that came in was, I believe you guys just did like this was my question for Simon. They just did a market research survey on Java, and I was hoping you could tell me a little bit about it.
Great. Okay. Well, yeah, we did actually. So we called that the State of the Java survey. We actually surveyed 2,500 individuals globally on how they perceive and think about the Java environment and what their current thought process is. So a couple of high-level bits of feedback that might be useful for you. Right now, 82% of businesses globally that are using Java are concerned with Oracle's fourth major price change, which, of course, is creating a lot of concern. We've talked a lot about that, Sean. So no surprise there. But what is quite surprising, given I believe there is a $2 billion stroke 10,000 customer environment out there, is that 72% of them are exploring alternatives and want to move. And that was a very definitive outcome from that survey. So good endorsement of the fact that whether you're in an audit and you don't quite know what to do, and you don't really want to pay the ransom, or you've already sort of made a decision to move, you're not alone. There's 72% other people doing exactly the same thing.
All right, thank you, Simon. And then we had another one come in. They were just basically saying, like, how do I migrate from Oracle Java to an Azure?
Well, it's pretty straightforward, actually. I mean, the migrations are really dependent on the scope and use of your Java application. So if you have a few very large Java applications, it's very quick to migrate. In fact, we had a bank that had over 200,000 desktops that migrated Java on their desktops within a weekend. It's that fast because wow. JDK swaps are pretty quick. However, I mean, a lot of the process around this comes from just understanding the scope and priority of your Java applications and just sequencing them. That typically assessment, that migration assessment, just generally creates a migration somewhere between usually 3 months or so. The most we've ever done as a migration is always about 9 months. But if anybody has any concerns, then we have a great book out there. We have a Java migration for dummies book that you can go and take a look at. And Sean and the team at Miro have access to that as well. Can send you a copy, or you can get a physical hard copy as well. And it just gives you all of the warm and fluffy stuff that will help you feel more comfortable that there is a really least risk and cost risk approach to doing the migration.
Great, thank you, Simon. We have a couple other questions that are coming in from the audience that my team has answered. I'm just going to quickly read them off to you. How long do we have to get off Java? And the question is not long. The answer would be the best answer I could give you is not long at all, based on how I've been doing these webinars. When I first started a year and a half ago, and I was asking how many people have been audited for Java, it was like 10%, and now it's up to like 50%. So really soon, we think it was, we've seen some analyst reports, that not our organization, from other reports, that said they believe Oracle has already audited about 20% of its own customer base for Java. So that is, it's creeping up, and it's creeping up fast. So if you are hoping that they just will forget about you, they will not. We had somebody ask, what is the deal with Java Oracle for Adobe? And the answer is Adobe requires Java, but it supports the Open JDK. Somebody asked, can please confirm if you use one of the commercial features that you will have to pay, even if you are using version 17.21 that were free? And the answer is yes. If you are using a commercial feature, you have to license Java no matter what. So keep that in mind. Look up those commercial features. I'll send them to you if you want to, if you want to look them up on your own, that's great. But I'm going to send them to you, and you can work with your teams to see if those are in use. What is involved in an audit? I can answer that one. That is what we said earlier. Your sales, you're going to get a phone call, and they don't even need to look at what you've got. They're just simply going to say, you've got at least one licensable version of Java somewhere in your environment. You have this many employees, and you do not have a subscription. We'll send you a bill. That's as involved as it is. They might go back and forth. You could possibly defend yourself if you're working with us. We can help you, but that is sort of the short answer to that. What is involved? It's a much more complex answer in reality. Talk to us after the fact, and we'll work with you one-on-one to go through it. I got another Azul question. We have customers with old Java, including JD6, JD7. Does Azul support those? I think you said they did, Simon, right?
Correct. Absolutely. 6, 7, and 8.
Excellent. Actually, while we're here, we got one more on Azul that just came in that said, well, you kind of answered this one already, so I guess you could keep it. You don't give a short. Is Azul's approach to security and patching? I believe we kind of covered that. You said we talked about how Azul critical patches the same day as fast as Java regularly does. The other ones don't. So we kind of covered that. Here's an amusing one. Will Oracle get sued over forcing companies to purchase licenses for employees that don't use Java? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. Oracle has certainly gotten sued in the past over many things, and they've also sued others. So will Oracle get sued? Will Oracle sue you for not? I'm not a lawyer. I would say talk to your legal team, but I would not assume that Oracle is going to get sued, and then that's going to make it so you don't have to buy Java. So I would not count on that. Another one here we got, if Linux Oracle DB runs with Java 8 up to 3.3.1, does it have to be licensed? And the answer is no. Oracle products are generally exempt from having a Java license separately. I mentioned that earlier. If it came with Java, you don't need a separate Java license for the program specifically. If I purchase an appliance from a third party that uses Oracle Java, am I on the hook for the Java use? That is it depends. If that third party is a software vendor who has a contract with Oracle to sell Java in their product, then the answer is no, the vendor pays that. You don't have to, because you're paying the vendor and they're paying for the license. If you are working with a third-party piece of software that does not have that agreement, yes, you are on the hook for that Java. So that would probably be a lot of open source stuff, so keep that in mind. And we've got another for Azul here for Simon. Somebody apparently has seen something about you guys have a free promotion, Freedom from Oracle promotion. Can you elaborate?
Actually, this is a really good one. So thanks for bringing this up. So Freedom from Oracle for us means if, for example, you're in an audit and you run out of time, or you run out of understanding of where your true Java usage, but you know that you want to get off Oracle eventually, you might sign up for Oracle for a year. You might just say, oh, I'm going to do a renewal for a year, which many people try not to do, but actually they end up having to do that for whatever reason. Now, if you're in that sort of scenario and you still want to move, our Freedom from Oracle promotion means that you can sign with Azul, except that we make sure that you don't have to pay and duplicate what you've already had to pay for from Oracle. So in other words, you're getting like the first year at significant or reduced or even no cost sometimes, compared to having to pay 2 lots of subscription while you're doing the migration. So it becomes a much cleaner way to solve the problem of how do I fund this, but at the same time, get the process moving so that we can help you migrate whilst you're just buying yourself a little bit more time. Of course, it does mean that you have to sort of commit to us for like a 2 or 3 year period, but of course it does mean you can get off more quickly. And as I said before, you know, our costs are 70% or more less than Oracle, so it's a good saving anyway.
That's excellent. Good. Thank you very much, Simon. We've got a couple more here. I thank you for sticking with us over time. We've had a lot more questions come in than we usually get. So again, if your opportunity for some free consulting, as manufacturers change their license metrics over time, do you feel all employees metrics will be where Oracle will try to push people toward and mandate those on the per processor and or per desktop name user metric? I don't know if anybody really knows the answer to that one. I would say, and I'm really speculating here, I would say no. I don't think that they're going to do this. I think this is a unique situation with Java where they ran into the issue of it was difficult to tell. It was difficult for organizations to determine how many machines and users were using Java because it's so ubiquitous. And it became a way that the Oracle sale of the subscription keep getting stalled. So eventually they moved over to this because it's much easier to find out how many employees you have versus how many systems you have. And again, keep in mind, everything else Oracle is talking to its clients about, they signed contracts for certain amounts of usage, right? Certain amount of users. They negotiated all this ahead of time before they purchased it. Java is a unique beast here because all these organizations started using it without a contract. So again, to the person who asked that question, please take that as what it is, my pure speculation, but just because of the circumstances here. And we got one last question here, I think is going to be the last one. And if you didn't get a chance to get your question answered, please send to us, email us. We will be happy to talk with you after the event. Does an audit, Java audit, involve running some scripts provided by Oracle? No, you would think that it does, but it does not. Except potentially instructions to run the power CLI command for VMware. The rest is done via self-reporting and running internal scans. And I think that is it for all of it. All right, great. If you we didn't cover anything you wanted to hear, or you have additional questions, or you'd like to learn more about Azure, or you'd like to learn about how Miro can help with your Java situation, please contact us. You can reach us at info@miroconsulting.com. You can call us at 732-738-8511, extension 1208. You can find us on the web by Googling our name. And of course, you can email any of your sales rep or person who sent you the invitation to this event. Again, thank you very much. My name is Sean Donahue, presenting today with a guest speaker, Simon Taylor from Azure. So this concludes the webinar, and we will follow up with you shortly with the guide and with a link to the recording in case you missed it or want to share it with your colleagues. This concludes the webinar. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great day.